Hello, Healthy Home. Welcome. We're so excited to have you today. And we are thrilled because I am joined with Dr. Christina Campbell. Dr. Campbell, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. I hope everyone else here is doing well tonight too.
Fantastic. We're
Mhm.
so pleased to have you at Healthy Home. We are really blessed with having just an array of talented, knowledgeable individuals. And Dr. Campbell, you are no exception. Just a vast array of knowledge. I've had the pleasure of working with you for a couple months now, and being able to get your insights. And we're so pleased to have you on this call. For those in the field that don't know you, love to give just a little background introduction of who you are and where you come from.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm an osteopathic trained physician. I'm board certified in emergency medicine and certified in functional medicine and certified in endocannabinoid medicine, along with some other certifications. But suffice it to say, my passion really lies in helping people to find the root cause of their dis-ease and then help them find natural methods for reversing those symptoms and augmenting their body's ability to heal itself.
Okay. So how did that background lead you to Healthy Home? How'd you find Healthy Home? What's that story?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I am always looking for the best products. For people who know me, they know I'm always looking for the best products. Natural products preferably, but I'm not against integrative medicine. But things that we can add to our lives that are simple, if they're food-based, even better, that will improve our health overall. And one of the things that I love about what we're doing here at Healthy Home is combining a series of functional products that really work together and also work incredibly well individually. So each one of the products that we have here is really truly a unique combination of ingredients that are all very beneficial and natural, clean, healthy products. So I love that about Healthy Home, and specifically, I am absolutely head over heels over StemActive. I love how they work, how it works together with the other products in the product line. And that is what we're going to talk a little bit more today as we're
Yeah.
improving STEM Active. If it's even possible to make it better, we've done it here today, and we're going to talk about that. But the ability to give you something that is affordable, so stretching to the everyday person and allowing them to help augment their own stem cell activity and ability to use their own stem cells to me is really a beautiful thing. Stem cell therapies are amazing. IV stem cell therapies, other types of injectables, they're amazing, but they're very, very expensive. And not everyone can afford to do that. So, this is an option that allows you to use your own body's stem cells, your own body's ability to heal itself, and really augment that. Also, which you may not know, and when you combine the two, if you are doing injectable stem cell therapies, this will actually help all that investment work for you longer. So those are a lot of the reasons why I could go on probably for an hour and a half on why I'm here at Healthy Home, quite honestly, but that just kind of gives you an idea of what I find so valuable here.
Well, fantastic. No, I love that. We hear that a lot in the field as we interact with leadership that's come over and talk about STEM Active and how amazing that is and some of our other products. But like you said, specifically, let's dive into STEM Active. So you had mentioned we added this new ingredient to make it better, which sounds crazy because the product itself, and we've been really careful of saying like new and improved because the old formulation is fabulous. But really, this does just kind of enhance the ability of STEM Active to work within your body. So I would love to hear your insight. I know you called me right afterwards when we made that announcement. You're like, "Holy cow, this is fantastic." Love to hear your insight of, how does STEM Active work within our system, and then what is the benefit of AC-11?
So I like to look at it as a seatbelt analogy. So we hold and store a lot of our stem cells in our bone marrow, most of our stem cells. And in order to release them, there are chemical signatures or messages that come from the tissues that need help and repair. And that helps to increase that release. That's how it naturally occurs in our body. But Our products have several ingredients that actually release that seatbelt and allow us to increase our circulating stem cells by up to 60% within 2 hours of taking it. So that is really incredible numbers. So what that does is it increases the number of stem cells we have in circulation to go and find the damaged areas and begin repairing them. And what's really cool about stem cells is that they can become any cell. So it doesn't matter what type of tissue is damaged, this stem cell release into the circulation is going to help improve and that repair process. And one of the first things stem cells do when they get out into circulation is reduce inflammation, because you have to do that in order to begin the repair process. So that is kind of the big power of StemActive. And we've talked about that in great detail in another video I've done. So I want to dive right into AC-11 and
Love
the
it.
addition and what is so amazing about that. So one of the questions I get often about StemActive is, okay, if it's helping me release more stem cells into circulation out of my bone marrow, does that mean I have fewer that I'm holding on, fewer in my storage bucket, right? Do I have less now that I keep releasing them? Will I run out? And the truth is that's the answer to that is no, you won't. It actually, when it gets released from the bone marrow, your stem cell divides and replicates itself. So it creates a daughter cell. The daughter cell goes into circulation, and the other cell stays inside the bone marrow. So your amount of storage stays the same, but you're releasing more. So that's pretty cool. Um, but when we begin releasing more and dividing more, so when we start talking about cellular division, DNA division, and replication, each time our DNA replicates, there's a little area of a protective area on the end of our DNA called the telomere. It's kind of like if you look at a shoelace, right? That little plastic cap on the end is kind of what I think of as a telomere. And so that cap needs to be just in the Goldilocks zone. It shouldn't be too big and it shouldn't be too small. It needs to be just the right length for our cells to divide and replicate and get out into our bloodstream and do their job well. And really, I think it's important to understand how our DNA is put together. So if you'll give me a second, I'm just going to dive into
Of
kind of how
course.
it's put together
Please.
really quickly. So, and it's the holidays, so I'm going to use a holiday analogy. If you think of, most people know about the double helix. You see that picture of that long strand of double helix um, out there all the time, and that's what we know. That's DNA. We know in our mind that that's DNA. And if you think of it like a very long microscopic string, that then it has to become very compact. And there's a lot of it that goes into one single chromosome. And then, of course, we have 23 chromosomes, right? From each parent, right? So we have 46 total in every cell. So just kind of thinking about that. It ends up wrapping around what's called a histone. But I look at that like a protein based spool. So that thread gets wrapped around the spool, and then another spool and another spool, another spool, and then all those spools get stacked on each other. And then pretty soon you're all super compact. So you've got like miles of, and don't quote me on the distance, but just for understanding, you've got miles of this DNA that's now compact into a microscopic little tiny chromosome. That needs to be protected for each time it divides. And so on the very end, we have these repeating sequences of proteins called telomeres that creates the telomere. That end cap is what protects our DNA from falling apart, if you will, much like a shoelace cap helps that shoelace. So if you
Amazing.
understand,
I love that analogy.
right?
Thank
I
you.
mean, if you just think about the ribbon wrapping and then the cap on the end, and that's important. Otherwise, your ribbon frays, right? And it falls apart. So telomerase, which is the enzyme that actually rebuilds our telomeres. So its job every time our cells divide, our stem cells divide, or any other cell divides, it's all of our cells, the telomerase actually rebuilds that end cap every time. And so over time, that rebuilding becomes damaged and shortened, and it doesn't happen as well as it should. And pretty soon, after, and I think it's 40 to 60 is usually the average number of cellular divisions before a cell becomes either senescent or self-destructs. And so what we're doing here is we're enabling our DNA and our stem cells, in addition to every other cell in our body that that holds DNA, to divide more often and actually be able to stay healthy longer. So we're talking about longevity medicine here, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And we talk about like lengthening the telomeres, and really, to the average Joe, to the average individual, it's kind of hard to understand that concept. So I really like the shoelace, and I'm 1000% counting myself as the average Joe. When I first heard it, I'm like, okay, that's awesome, and I understand a little bit, but that analogy really helped, and I think it'll help a lot of our viewers. So with this information then, and the power of AC-11 being added to our already fantastic STEM active, is there a different way that you would approach marketing this or talking about this to your customers that really sets this apart?
Yeah, so what this does is adding this, well, first let's talk about what this compound is. So AC-11 comes from cat's claw, but it's not the same thing as taking a cat's claw tea or a cat's claw herb or taking other types of supplements with cat's claw, because it is ultra filtrated and it's an extract of this very specific um, part of cat's claw, which is the active ingredient. And the active ingredient helps in a few different ways. It helps by reducing the impact of oxidative stress onto our DNA, which we know oxidation and oxidative stress actually damages our DNA over time. So this helps to mitigate it there. It also helps to improve our DNA's natural repairing process by impacting, there's two specific areas, NF kappa B and also TNF alpha. So for those of you who are geeks like me and you want to know specifically where, those are two very specific areas where it impacts, but essentially it mitigates, it reduces inflammation, the inflammatory process, which helps to improve longevity of our DNA. And it also helps to uh, reduce, so essentially it stops the telomere shortening. So it helps to reduce the amount of shortening, and it helps to stabilize the apoptosis, which is the cellular destruct mechanism. So there's a lot of different ways that this molecule actually helps us. And it's not, and I want to make it very clear, it's not the same thing as cat's claw. So when we're marketing it, from a marketing perspective, some people will say, and I've had people say this to me, well, why don't I just go get cat's claw? It's the same thing. But it's not the same thing, not at all the same.
Yeah,
So that's important to understand as well. And we are talking a lot about the telomere integrity and the fact that this helps to maintain the length of our telomeres. There was a nice study that was done over a 2-year period using AC-11 that showed that people who took it had improved telomere length and less aging of their telomeres over that 2-year period by the end. But the other thing that I think is a really nice draw is the fact that it increases our collagen 3,
yeah,
so
okay.
right? So it increases collagen 3, which is the beauty molecule, right? That's what keeps our skin soft and supple and keeps the wrinkles down. But more importantly, because we all want to be beautiful, but more importantly, every single connective tissue structure in our body is built on collagen 3. And so we're talking about not only skin, hair, and nails, but we're talking about our blood vessels, the integrity of our blood vessels and our circulatory system, our organ health. We're talking about our ability to heal wounds, our ability to maintain our gut lining, the same as our skin. The gut lining is the skin inside of us, and maintaining that, so it improves gut health as well, joint health, bone health. So everything that collagen 3 is involved in, this is another lock and key. So again, another place where Healthy Home has really made a beautiful collaboration with our collagen product, right? So
Absolutely. Yeah.
kind of cool. But the thing that I really think is so cool when you add this to our product here, when I talk to you about the fact that when you release more stem cells from your bone marrow, there's a division that of the stem cell in the bone marrow that happens. One cell leaves, one cell stays as a storage cell. that division, every time the cell divides, you are breaking down the telomere. And there's only a certain number of divisions that are naturally possible or naturally happen until that cell becomes an aged cell, a senescent cell, a zombie cell, or goes undergoes apoptosis and just disappears. What is beautiful about this is the AC-11 can get in there and protect our DNA during that division. So, as we're releasing more stem cells by taking this product, we are also protecting them from that division that we have to have happen in order to release more. This is a beautiful addition to this product, and to me, that is really um, the very unique piece. Now, of course, this is true for every cell in the body, not just stem cells, also our other somatic cells. It protects our DNA wherever our DNA is in the body. But to me, in this particular product, that is where the genius really is. In
Yeah.
2009, telomere science was awarded the first Nobel Prize, right, in science and medicine. So we're cutting edge here. This is cutting edge science and cutting edge natural lifestyle things that you can do to truly improve your longevity, slow down your aging process, improve your health, improve your dis-ease, right?
Well, this is fantastic. Dr. Campbell, I love your perspective, and it it makes sense to me why you were so excited and you called. And I mean, really, that's what we want to be all about at Healthy Home, is making sure that we are on top of this product innovation and cutting edge. And we had a great product, and it was presented to us how we can make this even better, and we jumped on it, right? And that's what our story is, and what we want our story to be, is that if we see new science, and a Nobel Prize is nothing to scoff at, right? We're going to go
Right.
ahead and take a look at that science, and if we can improve, then by all means we're going to. And I really love the different analogies that you laid out. So thank you, thank you. I know it's going to help our field. I really appreciate the time that you spent with me. I love getting to hear your perspective and your knowledge. Thank you for sharing it with me and with all of Healthy Home. We can't wait to have you on again. Hopefully sometime soon.
Anytime. Just all you have to do is I'm a text away, as you know.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you
Thank
again.
you.